So are there any signs that a property management business should be looking out for? Is there some so-called red flags that perhaps their service needs to be improved?
Really, that's a great question, Damien. I think that the first and most obvious one is complaint. And as business owners, as property management team members, no one likes complaints. We can take it very, very personally.
Yep.
But I look at complaints as being proactive rather than a negative. Complaints are revealing something about your business that needs to be fine-tuned or tweaked. It's interesting talking about complaints. I often do workshops, and we've got a property management health check that's got about 200 odd questions, and where you sit down and it analyses every aspect of your business. And literally, honestly, some business owners go, Deb, I'm not ready for the health check, because they know that they've got cracks in their processes and their systems, but they don't have time to fix them. So they ultimately, at the end of the day, avoid them. So that's a really simple, obvious one is the complaints. Be mindful of them. Are they repetitive? Are they directed at a certain person? And then I think the next one outside of the daily, day-to-day management complaints is if you're losing properties due to mismanagement. And a lot of people property management team members are so busy that it's like, okay, well, we've just lost another management, and they don't have strategies or processes in place to follow up and find out why. I mean, ultimately, they might know because they had tenants that caused thousands of damage, or they didn't pay their rent, or they weren't friendly property managers. But that's where I believe surveys and testimonials, probably on this topic, surveys, to find out. If you're getting complaints, you need to change it around. So introducing surveys when a tenant moves in, a tenant vacates, at a new management, an unsuccessful new management, or at the termination, send out a survey and find out why. What is it that they weren't satisfied with in your service? Another telltale of poor service, and probably not so much service, but relationship development with, or relationship connections with your landlords. Your landlords, so to speak, should be considered as your business check. They are your landlord. You are making money from them through management let fees and postage and petties. And one of the questions I ask when I'm doing workshops is, recently or in the past 6 or 12 months, have you ever had an outside agent, sales agent? And that's if you're working for a traditional agency that
not
has...
a property management only business.
Not only, So traditionally they've got sales and property management, but have you had a call from an outside sales agent to your rent roll of one of your landlords saying that they've listed your property for sale? Because that's, as we were talking, a red flag or an alert, because that's your client. That means that your competitor agencies are connecting with your landlords more than what you are. And I'll try and do it super quick, but I know this is one of your...
Yeah, it's one of my favourites.
One of your favourite stories, which is called Heaven and Hell, and a lot of people have heard me share it. But ultimately, this gentleman, let's say Damien, sorry Damien,
Thanks.
you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know what's
But
going
ultimately, Damien's walking down the street and then, okay, so we've woken everyone up now. If they're driving in the car or listening or wherever they are, they've woken up. But all of a sudden, Damien's got hit by a bus, and it was fatal. Silly Damien. But he finds himself in front of St. Peter, up in front of the gates of the pearly gates of heaven. And St. Peter says, Damien, 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 what were you doing? Not looking where you're going.
Silly boy.
Yeah, silly boy. But St. Peter, I don't know where he gets this from, but St. Peter says to you, Damien, you've been a model citizen, a really good human being,
Yep.
caring, compassionate.
Yep.
Now I'm elaborating too much.
Yep.
But St. Peter says to you, you've been a model citizen. So what I'm going to do is give you the opportunity to choose between heaven and hell.
Yep.
And you say, okay, that's great. I want to make an informed decision. And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, you're in front of the gates of hell and they open them up and you've got a look of surprise. Show us surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise on your face. Surprise, because there is like beautiful women and lots of amazing food and drinks and it's a party atmosphere. And you're saying, oh my goodness, we've been misled here on earth. I thought hell was a scary place.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you're back in front of St. Peter and St. Peter says, do you want to go to heaven? And you say, yes, okay. And then the pearly gates of heaven open up and it's exactly as you pictured it.
Yeah.
How did you picture it, Damien?
Oh, a little bit relaxed, slow,
Yeah.
white
Harps.
clouds, yeah.
Harps playing,
Yeah.
the doves,
Yeah.
everyone's wearing white, it's serene, you felt really peaceful.
Yeah.
But you thought, this is boring. Like, hello, hell's a bit of a party. So you're back in front of St. Peter again and you say, look, okay, heaven's exactly as I pictured it, but I think I'd get bored there and I'm going to choose hell.
Yep.
So once again,
Bang.
in the blink of an eye, you're in front of the gates of hell and they open up and all of a sudden it's not a look of surprise, you've got a look of shock.
Yeah.
Show me shock.
Oh.
I can do it.
You can do it better than me, yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, all of a sudden there's like gnarly people and there's no food and there's no beautiful women and it's really scary and you can feel the aggression and you don't even want to walk in and you yell out, St. Peter, what's happened? I've been tricked. You're devastated.
Yep.
But St. Peter says, but Damien, yesterday you were a prospect. Today you're a client. And how that translates, I think, into business in general or real estate or property management, when we want the business, we roll out the red carpet, we give them gifts, we ring them 10 times a day. But once we've got their business, the landlord never ever hears from us again unless it's an issue that they're behind in their rent or there's maintenance or they're vacating. And that's what I call introducing happy calls, is to improve your service by connecting. And we'll talk about happy calls in another episode.